information that's going to come out of today's presentation is out of these books, obviously a small smidgen. The blue book is for homeowners. I designed it to help agents when they work with their homeowners overcome some of the issues homeowners have about credit, friends, those type of things. And I'm going to tell you, one of the reasons I wrote the books as my short sale guru's guide is I really want this to be a personalized thing for the reader and for the people who are working in a short sale. And the reason why I can take that approach is a little bit about me. In 2007, I processed my own short sale. Being obviously a real estate attorney, what did I invest in? Real estate. So I got a crash course in what you do when you have over-leveraged properties. And the intro into the seller book really kind of tells that story for the homeowner. So they get the idea that, you didn't do anything quote-unquote wrong. Here I am, at that point I was a 10-year litigation real estate attorney, and I got caught in the market. And we'll go through a little bit of that. And then the purple book is really designed for you agents. The bulk of the book talks about listing appointments. We're going to spend some of our, an hour of our time today going over the listing appointments for 2013. And I really do call this advanced short sale. I know that we were speaking a little bit that your familiarity is for buyer side. In my experience, it's normally how most people get introduced to short sales. Their client is the buyer, they happen to fall in love with it, it happens to be a short sale. So we're going to work on basis on that. And I'm also going to share some information with you. We were talking about how in 2008 you went to a short sale course. One of the things about the real estate market in general, and if you're in Vegas, you know this because it's on adrenaline here, as well as the short sale practice. Every 6 months to a year, things are changing. Laws are being updated. The banks are changing their procedures. In 2008, the banks didn't have forms for the most part. Today, it's almost all form-based and equator. Okay, so you've seen major changes. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. The other advantage that you have is you have a lawyer in front of you for the next 3 hours. And we have a wonderful casual forum here for you to really utilize that. Since nobody was going to use Twitter, which I was going to do because I figured we'd use the last half hour to go through Twitter questions. Say, interrupt me as we go through, because again, I'm assuming everyone has different levels of familiarity with short sales. In my office, I've done over 1,000 around the country, New Jersey, Ohio. I have a pretty good idea, based on a fact scenario, how they're going to work from a process or lawyer side. So I'm really here to facilitate and help your questions, and that's part of the goal of this course, and that's why I put Advanced Short Selling for 2013 and beyond. Because really what I'm hoping is the 3 credit hours and everything that you learn here today is a springboard for increasing your business over the next couple of years. Most specifically the next 12 months, as we're going to talk about some of those things. So to go through that, does anyone initially have any questions about short sales before I begin? So let me kind of go through this. I've already kind of chummed the waters of who I am. Obviously, I'm a 16-year real estate attorney, negotiator, and trainer. I've written a couple books, turned them into courses, obviously here in Nevada and Florida. I own a statewide title company in the state of Florida, so I also am very familiar with the issues you guys face at the closing table. Everyone always asks me, why don't I go get a real estate license? Your job is too difficult, frankly, because you need to coordinate with people who are very competent, not only through the process of who close. It's one of the reasons I enjoy working with Phil and his organization. They're very familiar with the process of short sale closings and the issues that come up. So being a title company president and having closed a lot of these deals in the state of Florida, pretty much all the short sales I process I close at my office. I can also help you with questions about how that works. So again, feel comfortable if you want to ask questions from a closing perspective. I've been fortunate enough to be asked to speak around the country at different conventions. Most recently I'm in California at the Short Sale Expo up there. So I have a pretty good idea of what's happening nationally. Because of the advantage of being on panels with banks, I've spoken in Chicago, etc. and so forth. I have a good idea of where the market is going nationally, which also will impact you locally. So again, as we get to that part and talk a little bit about the market, please feel free to ask. I brought a newspaper article from Florida, but I think it's also very important here in Nevada. One of the reasons I selected Nevada to be another short sale processing center for me is our markets kind of mirror each other with the investors. that the investors driven in Florida tend to be a little different market than here in Nevada, which is California. There's some similar issues. TV host, I had a short sale guru show for a while in the state of Florida, which was a lot of fun, geared towards homeowners. One of the things, Phil led in talking about how I'm an advocate for my client. My client is the homeowner. The bar associations, that's who I represent. And I, having been that homeowner and being concerned about the phone calls I was getting, what the process was going to do to my collection or my credit or being able to own a home again, I'm really integral involved in making sure that they're educated, which is why I wrote 2 books, one for you and one for the homeowner. So use this book. You also, on this book too, the first chapter, which talks about homeowner reservations, you can download off the internet from my website, which is smithtitleservices.com, and use to pass out to your homeowners at listing appointments. And we'll get to that point when I talk about how important the listing appointment is for you and your homeowners.
Do you cover bankruptcies in your book regarding?
I touch on them, and that's partly because I am not a big bankruptcy advocate, and I say that in the book. So you're going to get a skewed perspective on it. The short version of that answer is if people are declaring bankruptcy solely because of their house debt, what they're doing is they're killing their credit for no real reason. I think it's a tool, and I've seen people use it effectively, so I can't say that I'm against it. I do touch on it briefly in both books.
Because there's, these attorneys, BK attorneys, not you, they're not educating their clients on what the ramifications of the fact it's becoming a zombie.
You gave your house back. You gave it back to the bank. Okay, BK's done, gave the house back to the bank.
There's 2 reasons. I can say the cynical reason, or I can say probably, a more touchy-feely reason. The first reason is it's a business, and they're running a business. Obviously, and clients are important. The second thing is, as all trades have happened in 2013, lawyers have become very specific in what their knowledge is. You ask me to do a will, I can't do it. It's like asking a boat captain to run a cruise ship if he's a tugboat captain. So a lot of them aren't aware of it. They don't understand, and so what they do is does it technically solve that person's problem? Yes, it does. Is there maybe a better solution? And I talk about in the Blue Book, I declared bankruptcy. So, a lot of these issues that I talk about, and I got bad legal advice to declare bankruptcy, which is why because that was what was told me, that it was going to solve my problems, and it didn't. And it took me 10 years to get out of that problem. Which is, again, why I'm an advocate of letting people, again, that's why I use the word guru. Guru to me is a guide. My goal here today is to give you everything for your short sale knapsack so that you can go out and handle your short sales, whether you negotiate themselves, send them to somebody else. My goal for the homeowners book is to give them enough tools, financial tools, to know which agent to hire, which scenario fits them, and then make a choice that they can live with. And that's really kind of all our goals on this. And that's my perspective of it. And again, it comes from a perspective of someone I've been there. Either I did my own short sale and processed it. I've done thousands of others. I've counseled and worked with thousands of people around the country. And that's what I've poured into the books.
Why doesn't some attorney write some advice for people? Because there's so many people who they're listening to their BK attorney and they're saying don't sign anything, and this property is staying in limbo. The banks are.
Well, this attorney wrote something.
Is that in here? Is that in
There
here?
is some stuff about bankruptcy
Okay.
in there, and why I recommend the alternative. And I talk about kind of similarly to what I said, which is it's a tool. And if you're looking at it as a total package, I know people with big portfolios. Phil and I talk about how some of the casinos use bankruptcy as a tool in order to reorganize. People can use it in their personal lives. I probably would have been a good candidate because I had, at one point 50-some properties, okay, most of which had some type of leverage against them, right? And so that's why I'm saying I put that into the book a little bit in the bankruptcy. Why a bankruptcy attorney won't write that other perspective? Again, I come down to it's probably not a
That
good
would be
business.
like me telling you don't need title insurance.
Yeah. So, and that's why I also put on there real estate investor. You're going to get a perspective of someone who wants to make the deal happen. And it's why I tie my payment to closing. First off, I feel very confident I know what I'm doing. which means when you come to me and I give you a fact scenario based on who your bank is, how delinquent your client is, what the scenario is, is it a primary and investment, how do they took the second mortgage out. Because I've worked with enough people, I can pretty much have an idea of where we're going, right? Mom can say that. How many times do we have that conversation on the phone? And I had that the other day with another agent that had a similar problem. My goal, and that also comes from a real estate investor background. Some of that today is my goal to instill in you, that you're able to do those things as well, is to see a short sale, and we'll talk about that.